Um, the table you sit at is either healing you or holding you hostage. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, in loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something that's going to shake you awake and settle you down all at once. These insights came from a conversation I had with Wylisa Osborne, a mother of three who's working two jobs, starting over from completely broke, and still finding the strength to inspire others to keep going. She didn't have someone to tell her she could make it, so she became that voice for someone else. And in doing so, she's touching a world. Her wisdom reminded me that healing and rebuilding don't happen in separate seasons, they happen at the exact same time. And that's what we're unpacking today. Let me start by telling you something that might sting a little. There's this lie we've been sold that says you have to be fully healed before you can be whole, that you need to have it all together, bank account right, trauma resolved, therapy completed, before you're allowed to dream again, build again, or feel joy again. And I'm here to tell you from Wylisa's story and from the lives of so many women who've walked this road, that's just not true. You can rebuild from completely broke while you're still healing. Being a mom of three, working multiple jobs, and starting over from nothing is not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're still in the fight. Healing and rebuilding don't happen in separate seasons, they're often happening at the exact same time. And if that's where you are right now, tired, stretched thin, wondering if you'll ever catch your breath, I need you to hear this. You're not behind, you're right on time. Now, let me tell you about Tiffany Aliche. You might know her as the Budgetnista. She's a Black woman, a stepmom, a former preschool teacher who thought she had done everything right: college degree, stable job teaching preschool, a condo she bought at 25. She was living what she believed was the American dream. And then 2008 happened. The recession hit like a freight train. School funding dried up. Her job was cut, and she lost her condo soon after. She had to move back in with her parents. And if you've ever had to move back home as an adult, you know that feeling, that quiet shame, that whisper in your head that says you failed. Tiffany fell into deep financial struggle and depression. She had to navigate shame, fear, and uncertainty while trying to rebuild. But here's the thing: she didn't wait until she was perfectly healed to start helping other women. She started teaching free financial literacy classes in her church and community while she was still figuring it out herself. She returned to the financial lessons she'd learned from her father, an accountant, and she started helping one woman at a time with budgeting and saving, often for free, just to serve. She used her story transparently to build trust and community with other women who were struggling. And those small, intimate sessions, the ones that happened in living rooms and church basements, became the seed of a global brand. Today, Tiffany has helped over 1 million women save and manage money through her Live Richer movement. She created the Live Richer Challenge, empowering women to save collectively over $250 million. dollars. 250 million. She co-authored the Budgetnista law in New Jersey, making financial education mandatory for middle schoolers in the state. She became a New York Times best-selling author and a highly sought-after speaker, appearing on major outlets like the Today Show, all after starting from financial rock bottom. Her story demonstrates that Black women can rebuild after losing everything, start a purpose driven brand from almost nothing, and heal financially and emotionally while they help others heal too. That's the first anchor point from my conversation with Wylisa. You can rebuild from completely broke while you're still healing, and you don't need permission to start. Now, let's talk about the second truth. You don't have to be fully healed to be whole, joyful, and powerful. We are never perfectly healed, but we can become whole by filling our lives with love, joy, faith in God, and the right people at our table, people who are building brands, building better lives, and speaking life into us. I want you to think about Myleik Teal. She's a Black woman entrepreneur and founder of Curl Box, a subscription box service for natural hair care products. Before Curl Box, Myleik worked in PR and events, where she learned the power of storytelling and brand. But she also experienced career setbacks, including being fired from jobs. She faced financial strain and uncertainty. She navigated the pressure of representing Black women in a highly visible beauty brand. And she had to manage internal battles around worthiness, perfectionism, and healing while scaling a fast growing business. Getting fired and facing professional disappointment pushed her into a season of reflection. She began to see a gap in the beauty market for women with natural hair, including herself. What started as a focused solution for her community slowly became a major brand, all while she navigated adulthood, boundaries, and healing from earlier mistakes. But here's what she did that changed everything. She spoke candidly about therapy, boundaries, and healing while building a company. She didn't pretend to have it all figured out. She used her platform to teach Black women about career navigation, self worth, and strategic risk taking. She focused on building an authentic brand and online community, especially on Instagram and her podcast. Today, Curlbox is one of the first and most successful subscription services focused on Black women's hair. Myleik built a loyal audience that sees her both as a CEO and as a big sister figure. She expanded her influence through her personal podcast, where she shares life and business lessons rooted in her own struggles. She became a sought after mentor and voice for Black women balancing ambition, self care, and emotional growth. She's credited with helping shift how beauty companies see and serve Black women consumers. Her journey models what it looks like to build a powerful brand while still doing the inner work, therapy, reflection, accountability that healing requires. For Black moms and women working multiple jobs or managing many roles, her story shows that you can be in process, imperfect, and still create something legendary. You don't have to wait until you're perfect to be powerful. You don't have to wait until you're healed to be whole. You can be both at the same time. And that brings me to the third anchor point from my interview with Wylisa. Your circle and your faith are your survival kit. Surrounding yourself with positive, purpose driven people and leaning on God for strength can be the difference between staying stuck in struggle and building a new, healthier life for yourself and your children. Let me introduce you to Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett. She's a Black viral immunologist who played a leading role in the development of the Moderna COVID 19 vaccine. She grew up in a working class family in rural North Carolina, navigating structural barriers Black girls often face in STEM. As a child, she participated in science enrichment programs and was identified early as gifted in science. Her mother and community nurtured that gift, even when resources were limited. She went on to earn a PhD in microbiology and immunology, eventually joining the National Institutes of Health. When COVID 19 hit, years of preparation placed her at the center of one of the biggest scientific efforts in modern history. She faced the weight of global scrutiny and racialized pressure as the face of vaccine development during a pandemic. She dealt with public attacks and misinformation while working to protect the very communities she came from. But here's what kept her grounded. She leaned on her faith, family, and mentors to stay grounded under historic pressure. She stayed committed to centering Black communities in her outreach, interviews, and public education work. She used her platform to encourage Black girls and women to pursue STEM while also naming the emotional and spiritual weight of that visibility. Throughout, She emphasized that her work was an act of service to the communities that raised her. Today, Dr. Corbett is a key scientific lead on the team that helped design the Moderna mRNA vaccine for COVID 19. She became an assistant professor of immunology and infectious diseases at Harvard. She's recognized globally as a role model for Black women in science and leadership, often speaking on purpose, faith, and community. She's been named to multiple Time 100 and influential people lists. She frequently highlights the intersection of being a Black woman, scientist, and person of faith serving Black and Brown communities. Her story shows that healing, wholeness, and purpose aren't limited to entrepreneurship. For Black women who are mothers or providers in traditional careers, her example shows that your work, your faith, and your community ties can all be part of the way you provide, heal generational wounds, and inspire others, even while carrying enormous pressure. Your circle and your faith are your survival kit. And I want to be really clear about what that means. It doesn't mean you need a huge network or a perfect church or a flawless support system. It means you need to be intentional about who you allow to speak into your life. It means you need to protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. It means you need to surround yourself with people who are building something, a brand, a career, a better lifestyle, and who speak life, faith, and possibility over you. Well, Lisa said something that stuck with me. She said, "My children are my strength, but my strength comes from God who strengthens me every day as I go outside to work two jobs to take care of my children, and as I inspire others to keep going and don't let no one stop them. Because if I can touch this one person, because I didn't have that myself, I can touch a world." That's the heart of someone who understands that their circle and their faith are their survival kit. That's the heart of someone who knows that even when you're tired, even when you're broke, even when you're still healing, you can still be a light for someone else. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to audit your table. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with and ask yourself 3 questions. Are they building something? A brand, a career, a better lifestyle? Do they speak life, faith, and possibility over me? Do I feel more hopeful or more drained after being with them? Then take one small action. Move one draining relationship to a healthier distance and intentionally reach out to at least one person who is building, and ask, how can I support what you're creating? And can we stay connected? This is how you start placing yourself at the right table, even if your money and circumstances are still in rebuild mode. I know some of you are listening to this and thinking, LeAnne, I don't have time to audit my circle. I'm just trying to survive. And I hear you. But here's the truth: the people you surround yourself with will either drain the little energy you have left, or they will pour life back into you. And you can't afford to keep giving your energy to people who aren't building, who aren't dreaming, who aren't speaking life. You just can't. Let me bring this home. Tiffany Alich rebuilt from financial rock bottom while she was still healing from depression and shame. Mylaic Teal built Curlbox while she was still doing therapy and learning boundaries. Dr. Kismikia Corbett led a global vaccine effort while leaning on her faith and community to stay grounded. And Wylisa Osborne is working 2 jobs, raising 3 children, starting over from completely broke, and still inspiring others to keep going. None of these women waited until they were perfectly healed to be whole, joyful, and powerful. They filled their lives with love, joy, faith in God, and the right people at their table. And that's what made all the difference. So if you're a mom working multiple jobs, if you're starting over from nothing, if you're tired and stretched thin and wondering if you'll ever catch your breath, I want you to know this. You are not failing. You are still in the fight. Healing and rebuilding are happening at the exact same time. You don't have to be fully healed to be whole, and your circle and your faith are your survival kit. Here's my challenge to you. Don't just listen to this and nod your head. Don't just feel inspired for a moment and then go back to the same table with the same people who drain you. Audit your table this week. Move one draining relationship to a healthier distance. Reach out to at least one person who is building. And remember, if God got you through that, He can get you and them through this too. The table you sit at is either healing you or holding you hostage. Choose wisely, choose boldly, choose yourself, and watch how your whole world begins to shift.